राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर। कातिया माला तीरमाला देव दोहार गले। गाथिया माला तीरमाला देव दोहार गले। अदर तुलिया देव कर्पूर तांबूले। अदर तुलिया देव कर्पूर तांबूले। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर। ललिता विशाखादि जत सखी वृंदा। ललिता विशाखादि जत सखी वृंदा। अज्ञाय करीब सेवा चरणारविंदा। अज्ञाय करीब सेवा चरणारविंदा। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर। राधा कृष्ण प्राण मोरा युगल किशोर। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दासेरानुदास। Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasaranu Dasa Sevaya Bhilasha Kore Narottama Dasa Sevaya Bhilasha Kore Narottama Dasa Radha Krishna Pran Mora Yugala Kishore Radha Krishna Pran Mora Yugala Kishore Jivane marane gate aro nahi mo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Very big hand for Nitai. For Arivo. Thank you, Nitai. Thank you. All right. So, for those who joined just in last few minutes, I extend a heartiest welcome for the Sunday Feast lecture here at ISKCON Silicon Valley, where our main focus is to kind of somehow or other hear and chant about Krishna and in the process become extremely happy. And this is a place where we try to understand the nature of this world and the struggles we face and what to do about it. So today we'll start off with our talk. The talk is that lessons we learn from Gajendra's crisis. And for those who are not familiar with the story of Bhagavatam, please do not fear. We'll cover all those kind of situation. So we'll start off actually with reading of Bhagavatam, and so we can do first few verses. So somebody can help Sutra Malik Prabhu to put just the. Actually, you know what? Let's keep it. It's not the prayers, but we'll go to the first one. But now that you brought it up, it's Krishna's arrangement. Let's keep it. Let's all chant that verse together. No, just call and repeat. So then we can at least, it starts off with nice. Kindly repeat after me. Shri Gajendra Uvacha. Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai. Yata etacchidatmakam. Purushaya yadi bijaya. Pareshaya bhidimahi. Translation. The king of the elephants, Gajendra, said, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Person, Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Because of him, this material body acts due to the presence of spirit, and he therefore is the root cause of everyone. He is worshipable for such exalted persons as Brahma and Shiva, and he has entered the heart of every living being. Let me meditate upon him. So, Haribol. So we go back to the first chapter because that is where the story starts of Lord Gajendra, or Gajendra, the king of elephant. And we can do the chapter view. Chapter 1. No, it's the third, chapter 1, and then this chapter view. Thank you. I think I might need the book, I guess, because I can't barely see anything. So what we do is we do 5 verses, starting with Namasmaranam Prabhu, and then we can do. So just even you can remove the verses too, so to make it easy, compact. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, please. So first 5 verses, and you can use the mic. Oh, no. Page 2? No. Page 1 is Manu's. So sorry. Let's go to chapter 2. I'm so sorry. Chapter 2, and then we can start 2, 3, 4. We'll try to cover as much as we can. The idea is to cover chapters 2, 3, and 4. That's ambitious, right? Extremely ambitious. And you have a bunch of prayers in between.
Okay. Sukdev Goswami said, my dear king, there is a very large mountain called Trikuta. It is 10,000 yojanas, 80,000 miles high. Being surrounded by the ocean of milk, it is very beautifully situated. The length and breadth of the mountain are of the same measurement, 80,000 miles. Its 3 principal peaks. It has its 3 principal peaks, which are made of iron, silver, and gold, beautify all directions and the sky. The mountain also has other peaks, which are full of jewels and minerals, and are decorated with nice trees, creepers, and shrubs. The sounds of the waterfall on the mountain create a pleasing vibration. In this way, the mountain stands increasing the beauty of all directions. The ground at the foot of the mountain is always washed by the waves of milk that produce emeralds all around in the 8 directions, north, south, east, west, and the directions midway between them. The inhabitants of the higher planets, the Siddhas, Charanas, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Serpents, Kinnaras, and Apsaras, go to that mountain to sport. Thus all the caves of the mountain are full of these denizens of the heavenly planets.
Okay, so just a quick question. So far, did we hear of a very desolate, arid, horrible desert-like place? It seems to be really beautiful from the description. Who doesn't want to go there? It seems to be like that is the place to be, and it seems to be a really nice place where everything is smooth, and probably there are no problems, no miseries, no dangers. Just go there and be happy. All right, so let's see. Okay, then you can do one another.
Because of the resounding vibrations of the denizens of heaven singing in the caves, the lion there, being very proud of their strength, roar with unbearable envy, thinking that another lion is roaring in that way.
Uh-oh.
The valleys beneath Trikuta mountain are beautifully decorated by many varieties of jungle animals, and in the trees, which are maintained in gardens by the demigods, varieties of birds chirp their sweet voices. Trikut mountain has many lakes and rivers, with beaches covered by small gems resembling grains of sand. The water is as clear as crystal, and when the demigod themselves bathe in it, their bodies lend fragrance to the water and the bridge, thus enriching the atmosphere. In a valley of Trikut mountain, there was a garden called Ritumat. This garden belonged to the great devotee Varuna and was a sporting place for the damsels of demigods. Flowers and fruits grew there in all seasons. Among them were Mandaras, Parijatas, Patalas, Ashokas, Champakas, Chutas, Piyalas, Pansas, mangoes, Amaratakas, Kramukas, coconut trees, date trees, and pomegranates. There were Madhukas, palm trees, Tamalas, Ashanas, Arjunas, Aristas, Udumbaras, Plakshas, banyan tree, Kimsukas, and sandalwood trees. There were also Pikumbaras, Kovidaras, Saralas, Surdarus, grapes, sugarcane, bananas, Jambu, Badaris, Akshas, Abhyas, and Amalakis.
Is it a nice place or what? I asked because we for puja usually you can get some sandalwood oil. You need some sandalwood oil, and then I asked. So it is for 5 milliliters, which is probably maybe a palmful of this much oil for sandalwood, is $70. They have sandalwood trees there. Just imagine a businessman will listen and say, "Oh, there's a lot of money to be made in sandalwood trees." This, good. But whatever you want.
But there is envy there.
There is envy was there. Okay, that we can manage somehow. All right, but there is a lot of stuff, right? So everybody has stuff, so we can be managing. All right, there is the envy, but that's we'll keep it aside.
In that garden, there was a very large lake filled with shining lotus flowers, and the flowers known as Kumuda, Kahlar, Utpal, and Shatpatra, which added excellent beauty to the mountain. There were also Bilva, Kapitha, Jambira, and Ballatak trees. Intoxicated bumblebees drank honey and hummed with the chirping of the birds, whose songs were very melodious. The lake was crowded with swans, karandavas, chakravakas, cranes, and flocks of water chickens, datyuhas, koyashtis, and other murmuring birds. Because of the agitating movements of the fish and tortoises, the water was decorated with pollen that had fallen from the lotus flowers. The lake was surrounded by kadam flowers, vetasa flowers, nalas, nipas, vanjulakas, kundas, kurubakas, ashokas, sirishas, kutajas, ingudas, kubjakas, swarnyuthis, nagas, punnagas, jatis, mallikas, shatpatras, jalakas, and madhvilatas. The banks were also abundantly adorned with varieties of trees that yielded flowers and fruits in all seasons. Thus the entire mountain stood gloriously decorated.
In other words, it was not situated next to a dump where all the trash is accumulated. It's very, very sweet smelling. All right. Let's quiet.
The leader of the elephants who lived in the forest of the mountain Trikut once wandered toward the lake with his female elephants. He broke many plants, creepers, thickets, and trees, not caring for the piercing thorns. Simply by catching scent of that elephant, all the other elephants, the tigers, and other ferocious animals such as lions, rhinoceros, great serpents, and black and white sarabhas fled in fear. The chamari deer also fled. By the mercy of this elephant, animals like the foxes, wolves, buffaloes, bears, boars, gopuchas, porcupines, monkeys, rabbits, and other deer and many other small animals loitered elsewhere in the forest. They were not afraid of him. Surrounded by the herds, other elephants, including females, and followed by the young ones, Gajapati, the leader of the elephants, made Trikut mountain tremble all around because of the weight of his body. He was perspiring, liquor dripped from his mouth, and his vision was overwhelmed by intoxication. He was being served by bumblebees who drank honey, and from a distance he could smell the dust of the lotus flowers, which was carried from the lake by the breeze. Thus surrounded by his associates who were afflicted by thirst, he soon arrived at the bank of the lake.
One more, please.
The king of the elephants entered the lake, bathed thoroughly, and was relieved of his fatigue. Then, with the aid of his trunk, he drank the cold, clear nectarian water, which was mixed with the dust of lotus flowers and water lilies, until he was fully satisfied.
So we learned that, in the previous verse it is said he was fully intoxicated with liquor dripping, right? And then he drank the water to relieve his fatigue. So simply we understand by drinking liquor you will become fatigued. Just go ahead. So far, what's the scene? Nice or nice? Best place to be? I mean, it's like a Cancun pool party with, you have a lot of water and everything going on, a lot of intoxication. And you see the nature of material world and how, everybody is trying to enjoy. The other point, not just human beings, but even elephants enjoy. Even animals also enjoy on the same level, and pretty much seem to be the same kind of enjoyment. So let's see what happens that now that this perfect scenery is set. You can do 5 verses up to 30, please. Yeah.
Like a human being who lacks spiritual knowledge and is too attached to the members of his family, the elephant, being illusioned by the external energy of Krishna, had his wives and children bathe and drink the water. Indeed, he raised water from the lake with his trunk and sprayed it over them. He did not mind the hard labor involved in this endeavor.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
By the arrangement of Providence, O king, a strong crocodile was angry at the elephant and attacked the elephant's leg in the water. The elephant was certainly strong, and he tried his best to get free from his danger sent by Providence. Thereafter, seeing Gajendra in that grave condition, his wives felt very, very sorry and began to cry. The other elephants wanted to help Gajendra, but because of the crocodile's great strength, they could not rescue him by grasping him from behind.
So we can stop 1 minute. If you can go up a little bit. No, up. That is 27. By arrangement of Providence, O king, a strong crocodile was angry at elephant and attacked the elephant legs in the water. The elephant was certainly strong, and he tried his best to get free from this danger. But you can read some that last line. I can't see it because of the sun. So here is the thing: how many times the word providence has come in this particular verse? So what is providence? Because it seems by providence the danger has come. So you can, higher, Tarun said higher cause. And then we have Mike. Yeah. So I'll get your chance. Don't worry, your chance will be still there. We'll continue from where we left off. So you can pass the mic and then we can come back. Providence.
I was just thinking, God is involved in providence. It's an act done by God.
Act done by God. Okay. And how do you explain the term providence to those who don't have faith in God? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, Shraddha raised her hand and then, okay, go ahead.
I think the authority in charge.
Authority in charge. Okay, who is authority? I am the authority in charge here. That was the king of elephants must be thinking. I am the boss here. No, look at me. I'm big. I'm strong. I have all these followers with me. The place is wonderful. I'm in charge. So go ahead. And then Shraddha also had her hand up. Shraddha, Mataji, not Mataji, but Shraddha.
Providence means that is beyond our control.
Providence means that's beyond our control. Okay. Okay. Shraddha and then Shraddha Mataji. Thank God we don't have the third Shraddha today. No, today in the class.
To someone who doesn't understand Krishna consciousness, you could say that nature.
Nature. To those who say, okay. Because nature, what goes around comes around, right? But who is the person coming around, or who is the person making it come around? Yeah. So it is mentioned by providence. Now, the point of providence is when the crisis comes, nobody goes searching out for crisis in this world. Nobody says, where is the virulent strain of bacteria that I should contact so that I can die in next 5 days? That is not my search today. My search is to be as safe as possible. You don't go and see the stock market to see which are the most worst performing businesses so that I can invest in them. Does anybody think like that? Or you will see which is the company which is almost about to go belly up so that I can apply for that company and join that company. Nobody does that. But the question is, providence is such that these come of their own accord. Crisis is such that everybody wants to avoid, but if it comes, nobody can avoid. Gajendra didn't get up that morning to say that today I will be attacked by a terrible crocodile. Now, try to understand that Gajendra, when he walked, the Trikut mountain, it was not a molehill, nor like a small pile of sand. It was a huge mountain, and that mountain shook when he walked. So you can imagine the size of Gajendra, yes or yes? Yes. But what about the size of the crocodile that was able to hold Gajendra in the water? It must have been much more enormous because it was able to hold this huge elephant and then in the water. It was not for 1 or 2 minutes, just time pass, like arm wrestling. Oh, okay, gone. But we'll know the duration of how much time did this tussle happen in the water. So that is the nature of crisis. Or the crisis comes, it comes out of its own providence. The reaction usually is, why did it come? Our first reaction is, why did it come? Why me? Why am I the person? Everybody works in the same office. Nobody's fallen sick. Somehow or other, one person fell sick on the other building in the other floor, and somehow I had to just pass for something, and I'm stuck here. Everybody's fine. People are making millions of dollars in the stock market. Why me? I'm barely able to survive on food stamps. So it's just the nature of providence is such that it will come of its own accord. Nobody seeks for it, yet the crisis comes. That is the nature of crisis. You should hold that depth thought, because there is definitely, maybe, yes, possibly, could be, might be, but we will come to that. And as we read the story, then we will come to that. The reason being, because this episode unfolds in such a nice fashion, and you can see the whole picture. So you can hold on to that. I thought your good name, Mataji? Lata, thank you. All right, so any questions so far? We are good? All right, everybody wants to know what's happening next. The exciting part is coming. All right, go ahead, Mataji. You have, yes. Yes, I'm sorry, if you can, yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we don't search for crisis, but sometimes we search for like maybe little challenge, maybe going out of the comfort zone. Is it by providence?
Excellent.
That
Excellent
we
question.
go there?
Thank you. Thank you. In Bhagavatam, the attack on Gajendra is mentioned as providence. But more often than not, it's a dangerous thing to blame everything on providence. You're working at your office and your boss comes and asks, and the deadline to be shipped is in 2 days. And the project is done about 40%. And he says, well, what is the status, he or she, for that matter? What is the status? Well, it's done only 40%. What? We have to ship it in next 2 days. You're done only for, by the will of providence. The idea there is, there is providence and then there is our part that we play in shaping the providence. In the sense that there is a cause and effect. There is always, people search for cause. Why me, right? Why me means I'm searching for a cause, or who did this to me? Right? There is an effect that has happened in the form of crisis, and I'm searching for a cause, because I need to know the cause. More often than not, if you have done it, then you accept responsibility for it. And if it is obvious that you have done it. For example, in this case, you are actually watching the World Cup most of the time and you didn't work on the project. It's an example. The cause actually is yourself, or your lack of effort rather, and the effect is showing up. So you can't blame providence for everything, but this one, unsought troubles in your life that you never sought, more or less comes from providence. Not on a day-to-day basis. On a day-to-day basis, most of us are sane, rational, hardworking, we are goal-oriented, and we try to do our stuff on time and so on and so forth. Right? Everybody of us pays bills on time. Right? And you just can't simply say, okay, I'll take a chance. Maybe the power will go out. The electricity guy will cut my power. Will of providence. No, there is no providence. You didn't pay, it cut. There is clear cause and effect. But in the case, most of the time, where there is no clear cause and effect, where you really don't understand who caused this, or I'm a good person, why is this happening to me? That is the reference, most time it happens. Why me? So in that cases, it is providence. It is, as Lata said, it could be karma. We'll come to that. Mainly it is, but we'll come to that particular point. Is that okay? Okay. And going out of your comfort zone, the best way to go out of your comfort zone is to do something for Krishna, something like astounding for Krishna, way out of your comfort zone. Otherwise, okay, I barely can walk, but let me run a marathon. It's going like way out of your comfort zone, and then the discomfort can last rest of your life. As in, like, you can do some serious damage to the body. So you should have a practical, balance on where you draw the line. Is that okay? Yeah. But if one last point on that. If your nature is that of a person who has to have some risk involved in life. Let's say, for example, your tendency is to do business, right? You're by nature a businessman. You are not satisfied just working a job. You want to start your own firm, and your nature is such. It's not driven out of your need to make money. Please understand, it's a very different thing than your nature to do business. It's just in your nature to do business. Then there is some risk involved, and probably there is some, you have to be out of your comfort zone. You say, this is my money, I don't know when I invest, I don't know what will happen. You'll never make profits. So It's a vis-a-vis, in a battlefield, for example. If your nature is soldier and you go to the battlefield, there is a definite amount of risk and you are out of your comfort zone most of the times. With bullets flying, I don't think you are very comfortable. Right? So there is that aspect to that. All right, let's read a little bit. Go ahead, Mataji.
O king, the elephant and the crocodile fought in this way, pulling one another in and out of the water for 1,000 years. Upon seeing the fight, the demigods were very surprised. Therefore, because of being pulled into the water and fighting for many long years, the elephant became diminished in his mental, physical, and sensual strength. The crocodile, on the contrary, being an animal of the water, increased in enthusiasm, physical strength, and sensual power.
Thank you. So here, what happened when crocodile caught the elephant? Did all the family members run away? What did they do? The wife started crying, the others started pulling. Poor elephant had only one tail. I wish they had like 20 tails, so that all the 20 elephants can pull. Maybe there was a chance, but poor fellow had only one tail. So they tried. So the other aspect of crisis is sometimes in a crisis, your family members can help. Our family members or friends might help, and they might have the best of the intentions, but you still feel lonely because it is yours only. For example, when you are very sick, you will get that feeling, right? Many people can help you, but you are the one who is actually like facing that brunt of that situation, right? Any examples where in crisis, even though the help was there, but you still felt somewhat lonely? And that was Gajendra's situation here. They tried their best to help. There was sympathy in form of his wives and physical pull in form of his friends, but it didn't work. So sometimes the crisis is like that. Your friends and your family members, and they can help you to their best, but sometimes you just are alone in that particular stage. It's just the nature of material world. So the 30th verse is very important. So, and how many years did it happen? 1,000 years. And then for those who are not super familiar with the Vedic terms, this did not happen in this present age. In the present age, the lifespan is just 100 years. And crocodile's lifespan is maybe less, I don't know. Average crocodile lifespan is 40, 50 years. Elephant is what? The elephant is a little more. By that stretch, the crocodile should have died in the water only, because the lifespan is gone. But in the previous ages, in Satyayuga, the lifespan was 100,000 years. And then in Treta, it was reduced by a factor of 10, which was 10,000. In Dwapara, it was 1,000, and in Kaliga, it's 10. The most important point, actually, Srila Prabhupada writes here, is that was crocodile getting more and more strength or elephant getting more and more strength?
Crocodile.
And why is that?
It's a water animal.
Is an animal of water. So where your position of strength is, that's where you fight from. You fight. It's pretty common. You have a strength that comes from your place where you are situated. It can be either in form of your talent, which you are pretty confident about, and then you can fight. And that's not a uncommon thing. Many of the companies, they say, work on your core, or sell your core, or you shine on your core. Means you have some core that you are very good at, and that's what you do. And here also it's mentioned that if you want to fight, then you pick and choose your strength, know your strength, and you can fight. But if you really pick some area which is not your strength, then you feel weak, right? And so Srila Prabhupada writes, for those devotees, he uses this backdrop beautifully, that devotees, we struggle against Maya, and then we are like that elephant, which are caught in the grip of time. And then to fight this battle, especially in this age of Kali, you should pick and choose your area. In our spiritual movement, we have 4 divisions, which is called the brahmachari or the celibate, which is called grihastha or the householder. There is vanaprastha, who is a retired person, and then there is sannyasi, who is completely renounced. So you can pick and choose your ashrama based on where is the best place you can serve Krishna. If your nature is to be a householder, then better be a householder and then serve Krishna. If your nature is to be a celibate, then become a celibate and serve Krishna. It's better to have that strength. The most important thing Srila Prabhupada writes, one of the things that is common against our society is that why did Srila Prabhupada give sannyas to so many of his young disciples who later couldn't keep up their vows of sannyas? And it's mentioned here, Srila Prabhupada writes that even if one falls down from sannyas, it's better one should never give up one's fight and one's sadhana. It's very important. Questions, comments, concerns? Okay. The other thing is, crocodile was stuck for 1,000 years, right? Did he actually enjoy fine foodstuffs in the 1,000 years? Did he die any time during 1,000 these years? Our material existence is like that. Neither we can completely enjoy here, nor completely can we annihilate our existence. We are just stuck. We are being held in the grip of material nature. You can see that, anything is so hard in this world. Anything doesn't come by easy. People actually, that is the important point, is people take this extreme way of giving up their life over some problems, yes or yes. They take it as a last resort, whether it was a failure in exam, a failure in business, a failure in a relationship, a failure at a career. People give up their life thinking that, I will solve all my problems, or maybe the pain won't be there if I give up my life. But little do they know that in the next life you are going to face the exact pain that you are left here. So this nature of the material, when you are embodied, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that we are spirit souls, part and parcels of Krishna, and we are in this material body. I'll give a simple example. If you live in a rented property, is it yours? You live in that rented property for some time, and then when the landlord says that, look, you have to go, you have to go. So in a nutshell, the body that has been given to us by Krishna is just like a rented property. And now I'm not making this up. Prabhupada writes in one of the purports. It's just, this is the rented body, the rented house that I have for some time. And then I give it up and then I go according to will of God. Neither can I choose my birth, nor can I choose my time of death. When it comes, it comes. So the material existence is such that you neither can completely be happy nor completely be free of your own accord. It seems like you have been bound, and that's what is the situation of Gajendra here. The other point, sometimes Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the embodied means embodied entities is who are embodied entities. Now we talk about this big term, embodied entities, embodied living entities. Soul, okay. Animals, human beings, anybody who's having a body, but who's moving in this material world. They are circumstantially helpless at times. The helplessness can come circumstantially. I'll tell an example. Many years ago, we were living in a house, and opposite to our house was just that our house, there was a street, right? And then opposite to that house was an aged couple. And they were husband and wife that they were living. One day morning, I It was on a Saturday, I came to the temple, I did my services or whatever, and I went back to the house. I went back to the house, and the garage door was open, and this man was lying on the floor, and then he was calling out. I thought, maybe he was doing yoga in his garage. He was lying like this and saying, I just said, hi, how are you? And then I went inside and to get some water. And the kitchen window actually faces the street, and I can see that particular person. And this time I closely looked. It was like, that poor person, he couldn't walk, and he slipped his leg, and he couldn't get up. He had some knee hip operation, and he came to garage to get something. It was cold, slippery, maybe there was some dampness, whatever. He fell and fell. He couldn't get up. He didn't have phone in him to call his own wife, who was in the house. And that was winter. The garage door was open. The circumstantially helpless is what is meant by this. A situation comes, somehow or other things, the perfect storm, as people call it, yes or yes. Everything comes up, and then it hits. That's just the nature of world. So one thing we take away from this class is this: the world is such, the crisis is something. Don't think that you cannot get it. The more sane thing to do is, if I get it, how to handle it. Or the spiritual life doesn't guarantee that your life will be crisis-free, but it will for sure guarantee you the immense strength to tolerate it, and more importantly, the perspective on why this is happening, and how by pursuing the path of spiritual life I get strength to meet this crisis. And why am I in the first place facing this crisis, for heaven's sake? Right? So those things are what we are kind of talking about in Gajendra's thing. Questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, please keep it to words. I don't have any protective gear. Thank you. Okay, please go ahead. 31 through 35.
When the king of the elephants saw that he was under the clutches of the crocodile by the will of Providence, and by being embodied and circumstantially helpless, could not save himself from danger. He was extremely afraid of being killed. He consequently thought for a long time and finally reached the following decision. The other elephants, who are my friends and relatives, could not rescue me from this danger. What then to speak of my wives? They cannot do anything. It is by the will of Providence that I have been attacked by this crocodile, and therefore I shall seek shelter in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is always the shelter of everyone, even of great personalities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is certainly not known to everyone, but he is very powerful and influential. Therefore, although the serpent of eternal time, which is fearful in force, endlessly chases everyone ready to swallow him, if one who fears this serpent seeks shelter of the Lord gives him protection, for even death runs away in fear of the Lord. I therefore surrender unto him the great and powerful supreme authority, who is the actual shelter of everyone.
So, nice. Thank you. So here is the thing though. Gajendra, as soon as the crocodile caught his leg, he didn't say, oh, God save me. He tried his best. For 1,000 years he fought. So the lesson we learn is, when we have these troubles in our life, then at least we should do our best to fight them, not just give up on the word go. But when you reach to a situation where you completely realize, this is beyond me. This is not something that I asked for, and there is no way I can get out of it, then you seek shelter. And it is mentioned here, once he surrendered to Krishna, then he got full intelligence. Please understand that Krishna might not come directly, because here you can say, we'll come to that part later, but let's continue. Is everybody comfortable? Is everybody doing well? Yes. Namasmaranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So I had this one question that, if we are stuck in crisis, should we, like by experience, should we learn that, let me just directly take the shelter instead of fighting, or still we are supposed to fight? I mean,
to the extent we can, we should fight. You can't be lazy. Arjuna, for those who are familiar, Arjuna, for those who are not familiar, in the Bhagavad Gita, initially should I tell the story a little bit? Okay. So the Pandavas and the Kauravas, they were ready to fight. It's a long story. Mahabharata was 125,000 verses. So they are ready to fight on the battlefield. And then millions and millions of soldiers have assembled to fight. And Arjuna, when he went to see who were those people that he had to fight against, he saw that they were his own relatives, his fathers-in-laws, brothers-in-laws, teachers, grandfathers. He looked at his relatives and his heart became so soft. He said, "Oh Krishna, I won't fight this battlefield. I'm so sorry." And it's not that just he said, "Okay, now you fight this battle, or I'm running away." He gave so many arguments to Krishna. He said that, these are all the reasons that I shouldn't fight. And then, in the end, when he said, "Well, I can't decide, my intelligence is not strong enough which way I should go," then he says, "Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam." He says, "I am a soul surrendered unto you, and I am your disciple. Please instruct me." So the idea is that we do our best to kind of see how we can do it. The thing is it my own fault? If it is my own fault, why bring God into the picture? I can solve it. Not solve in the sense like I take responsibility. If you go and really slap someone really hard, will of Providence, it's God who made it. It's my own responsibility. I just have to go and apologize to that person or do whatever it needs to take, and Krishna will be okay with that. But you reach a stage where you really give up your intelligence, your every resource. It's not helping you. Then, at least one should give it once try. And then one should, take shelter of Krishna. And you can see this is a common theme. In fact, we shall talk about that, because it's an important point that you raised. Should we even ask Krishna for help during danger? Because for those who are thinking, what's this guy talking completely weird? The idea is that, those who are on a very high grade of devotion, they are so satisfied serving God that they do not care about their personal danger. Even if it comes, they are not going to ask God for help. But we'll address that particular point. Good point, but we'll address that if we reach all the 3 chapters. That is a big if. Yeah. And then one last point Srila Prabhupada writes is that the crocodile of time is going to catch every one of us. It's just a matter of time. So, all right. So 5 verses, please. Next. Yes, you had. Sutramalik Prabhu, you had your hand up, yes.
Prabhuji, so you already answered one of mine, that is everyone going to be affected by this? Of course, everyone's going to be affected by this. Second thing is that one has to, try out everything before you actually, give it up, completely give it up to Krishna. Is that correct? Or before that, one can say, okay, I had tried enough, it's all in your hands.
Well, sometimes it depends. As in, nothing. It's all the situations are fictional and they bear no resemblance to any person, living or dead. Assume that you go to the doctor with some cold and fever or whatever small issue that you think will be done, and your doctor says you have 2 weeks to live. And your cancer is kind of... Again, I put in the disclaimer. So immediately you take shelter of Krishna, there is nothing else. Maharaj Parikshit was told the same thing. Hey, I'm not making it up, it happened. In 7 days you're supposed to die. You will die. You will end... Yeah, there's no question of trying. You just have to give to the will of God. The idea is, is it providential or is it my own? And then if there is, at that end stage of life, there is nothing you can do, just surrender to Krishna. So depending on the nature of crisis. I am not getting promotion at work, that's a crisis. No, I have to pray to, you do your best, you work hard. I go to the office at 10, I take lunch break at 12, I have 2-hour lunch break, come back at 2, have a coffee break at 4, and then go home by 4:30, and my boss is not giving me promotion. And then God is kind of, very unfair. He's not helping me at all. So you see the point, right? Where it goes. It's a situational basis. My mother-in-law is a nasty person. Why God is not making her nice? Maybe you are equally kind of. So, anyways, it's all situational. It's not easy to. Yeah. Questions? Yes, Sri Antariksha Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for clarifications. I had a question regarding this. So when there are difficult circumstances, do we have to first of all try out and then surrender, or directly surrender and try? Or why wait for so long and then surrender?
So the point is, you don't know the nature of what caused it. Cause and effect is very hard to perceive in this material world. People do activities, they even forget it. All of a sudden, your neighbor stops talking to you. And you don't know why. And then you don't care. Why should I go and talk to that? He's not talking to you. 10 years pass by, and you don't talk to each other. Your kids have grown up. One day you are walking. And then something happens. Hey, you stop talking to me. Yeah, you just stared at me like this that day, and I thought you were angry at me for some reason. I stopped talking to you. Is that a crisis? So you better go talk, find out what happened before you actually kind of, it's better you put in your effort. The cause and effect is very hard. In this case, you don't know why that neighbor stopped talking to you for 10 years, but it happened, and you don't even know the cause. You assume a cause, which was not true at all. So there is some part on your side to make sure of why it is happening. Especially relationships are something that can be done more on a personal responsibility. If that person doesn't like you, maybe there is something I need to work on myself, or maybe it is his. Just in a really simple relationship, it's very hard to perceive who is at fault, and therefore you can see the divorce courts slinging mud at each other. Yes or yes? It's a simple relationship between a husband and wife who have been together for so long. And it's very hard. Why are we fighting? Then what to speak of this complex material world? So, give it your best shot. And Krishna is not going to come right now. In Gajendra's time also, he didn't say, okay, I'm going to come right now. 1,000 years is not a small time. He didn't say, I give up. He tried his best. He says, then that realization came about. Nobody can help me. Neither my wife can help me, nor my friends can help me. And I am alone, trapped. They're already gone. 1,000 years, maybe how many years did they stay? 6 months? Out of 1,000? I don't know. The Bhagavatam doesn't mention how long their friends and they were there. But you are alone. So, is that helpful? No.
So, Prabhuji, the question probably would be, does surrender mean I give up? Does it what it means, or?
Surrender means to act according to will of Krishna in that situation.
So that can even be when one is dealing with the situation, not necessarily. So one can still be acting under will of Krishna.
But surrender actually the crisis brings out that surrender in a very intense and deep way. Srila Prabhupada writes in one of the purports, when you actually have that crisis, one of my friends, he had crisis at work, and his job was at danger, and his whole existence was at danger. And he said to me that, then I realized just the fickle nature of this workplace, and then I started to take shelter of the holy name even more stronger. So, we should always be surrendered to Krishna, but these crises bring out even a deeper mood of thing. And looking in that light, it seemed to be that, yes, Mate, I'll come. Looking in that light, we'll come to that topic a little later. With the God, why does he have to put even in the first place? He should have been, why do crocodile come? Why the elephant came? Why all this thing happened? Okay. Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
My name is Carly.
Carly, thank you.
So if we feel like we've done all that we can and we're at this point where you just want to surrender and be an instrument, how do you know what Krishna wants you to do?
Outstanding question. Well, Srila Prabhupada was very simple and straightforward in his answer. He said, if your spiritual master is happy, then Krishna is happy. But that one thing one has to be using some caution. Because, otherwise, as I said, everything can be Krishna, blamed on Krishna. Everything can be, okay, this is Krishna's thing, that is, the person who is drunk on the street, lying on the street will say, it's Krishna's will. He's making me do it. In that way, there is no personal responsibility. So, under the careful guidance of a spiritual mentor that you can trust, then, it's more obvious. But till that point, there are generic principles. You follow certain lifestyle to kind of reach there. But it's better to have a guide who can tell you which is what. But more often than not, just chanting Krishna's name and remembering his pastimes actually will give you strength, because they are non-different. By being absorbed in those two things, it's much more easier, even if you not in a stage where you can say, I'm okay to kind of accept a spiritual mentor. You still can read about Krishna and chant his names and still have some effect. Not be the complete, but at least some effect. Is that okay? Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Other questions, comments? All right. Should we continue? We have how many minutes? 30? No, 30, 41, 40. Okay. We are okay. All right. Please.
Sri Sukdev Goswami continued, thereafter the king of elephants, Gajendra, fixed his mind in his heart with perfect intelligence and chanted a mantra which he had learned in his previous birth as Indrayuma, and which he remembered by the grace of Krishna. The king of elephants, Gajendra, said, I offer my respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Person Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Because of him, this material body acts due to the presence of spirit, and he is therefore the root cause of everyone. He is worshipable for such exalted persons as Brahma and Shiva, and he has entered the heart of every living being. Let me meditate upon him. The Supreme Godhead is the supreme platform on which everything rests, the ingredient by which everything has been produced, and the person who has created and is the only cause of this cosmic manifestation. Nonetheless, he is different from the cause and the result. I surrender unto him the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is self-sufficient in everything. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, by expanding his own energy, keeps the cosmic manifestation visible and again sometimes renders it invisible. He is both the supreme cause and the supreme result, the observer and the witness in all circumstances. Thus he is transcendental to everything. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead give me protection. In due course of time, when all the causative and effective manifestation of the universe, including the planets and their directors and maintainers, are annihilated, there is a situation of dense darkness. Above this darkness, however, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I take shelter of his lotus feet.
Amazing words, huh? And these are not recipes for Rasgulla, nor are they directions to something. It's like very profound verses. And who are they spoken by? By the best of the poets? It's spoken by Gajendra, who is an elephant. And in fact, later we'll know how remarkable that is, given that the birth that he has taken as elephant. So should we continue with these beautiful prayers? All right. And so, okay, go ahead. We'll come back to that point a little later. Go ahead.
An artist on stage being covered by attractive dresses and dancing with different movements is not understood by his audience. Similarly, the activities and features of the supreme artist cannot be understood even by the demigods or great sages, and certainly not by those who are unintelligent like animals. Neither the demigods and sages nor the unintelligent can understand the features of the Lord, nor can they express in words his actual position. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead give me protection. Renunciants and great sages who see all living beings equally, who are friendly to everyone, and who flawlessly practice in the forest the vows of brahmacharya, vanaprastha, and sannyas, desire to see the all-auspicious lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead be my destination. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no material birth, activities, name, form, qualities, or faults. To fulfill the purpose for which this material world is created and destroyed, he comes in the form of a human being like Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, by his original internal potency. He has immense potency, and in various forms, all free from material contamination. He acts wonderfully. He is therefore the Supreme Brahman. I offer my respects to him. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the self-effulgent Supersoul, who is the witness in everyone's heart, who enlightens the individual soul, and who cannot be reached by exercises of the mind, words, or consciousness.
Hey, Tarun, can you go like that?
Hare Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is realized by pure devotees who act in the transcendental existence of Bhakti Yoga. He is the bestower of uncontaminated happiness and is the master of the transcendental world. Therefore, I offer my respect unto him. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Vasudeva, who is all-pervading, to the Lord's fierce form as Lord Nrsingadev, to the Lord's form as an animal, Lord Varahadev, to Lord Dattatreya, who preached impersonalism, to Lord Buddha, and to all other incarnations. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has no material qualities, but who accepts the three qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance within this material world. I also offer my respectful obeisances unto the impersonal Brahman effulgence. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the Super Soul, the superintendent of everything, and the witness of all that occurs. You are the Supreme Person, the origin of material nature and of the total material energy. You are also the owner of the material body. Therefore, you are the Supreme Complete. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
Thank you.
My Lord, you are the observer of all the objectives of the senses. Without your mercy, there is no possibility of solving the problem of doubts. The material world is just like a shadow resembling you. Indeed, one accepts this material world as real because it gives a glimpse of your existence.
1 minute. So here it is mentioned, without your mercy, there is no possibility of solving the problems of doubts. Arjuna, please understand, he was a Maharathi. Now, Maharathi in those days was not only expert in fighting with weapons, but he was very expert in scriptures. Shastra and Shastra. In Sanskrit, Shastra means weapons, and Shastra means the scriptures. He was expert both in Shastra and Shastra. And when he said to Krishna, I will not fight this battle, he gave many scriptural reasons. He was not whimsically saying, I will not fight. He gave many scriptural reasons that why I shouldn't fight this battle. The whole of first chapter is filled with those. But then he says, I'm confused. In the second chapter, Shishyas Karpanya Dosho Pahata Swabhava Prichamit Mam Dharma Sammudha Cheta Shishyaste Ham Shadi Mam Prapannam. He says that because of my weakness of mind, I cannot resolve what is good for me, what is the best thing for me. And then unless Krishna gives guidance, it's how many times do we have this? Mind goes flip-flop. Flip-flop, flip-flop, flip-flop. After that you come to a decision, but then you flop. You deliberately do that, and then you say, oh, I shouldn't have done that. It is said here that by Krishna's mercy, and the same Arjuna who was full of doubts in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, when he heard the entire Bhagavad Gita, he says, now my doubts are destroyed. Yes, now my illusion is cut, and then I am ready to act. Even it was the same act that he was very, very hesitant to perform, but he acted with happiness and with complete conviction. So when one takes shelter of Krishna, one gets intelligence to get the correct perspective. Srimad Bhagavatam is 18 cantos, and the sages at Naimisharanya, they asked 6 questions. The whole Bhagavatam was question and answer session. It's a book of Q&A, seriously speaking. And it unfolds the highest philosophy. And then one of the first questions they asked is, there are too many scriptures. And in each scriptures there are too many prescriptions, do's and don'ts. So please collect the essence of all this and tell us the essence. And then the first question they asked is, by doing what the mankind derives the highest benefit? Or a human being, how can you be completely happy? And by doing what? That was their first question. Because in this world, everybody gives you a different idea how to be happy. The Coke wala says, open the can of Coke, you will be happy forever. The car wala says, you buy our car, then you'll enjoy life forever. And nobody at that time thinks of the statistics of road accidents. That's a whole other topic. Then the people who have electronic gadgets, buy your electronic gadgets, you'll become smart. The gadgets will become smart, but you will become dumb. Seriously, now, you to think of 12 8s are, if I say 12 times 8, how much? Everybody goes for their calculator. Not to offend anybody who has a smartphone. I'm equally dumb too. I carry it. But it's just the nature of this world. The point is, people are giving so many things that for you to be happy, buy our cream and put it on, you will get the confidence and the extreme happiness. Or buy our fashion, then everybody will be like gawking at you like you're God. So, but then the sages asked, what is that gives me the true meaning? And then Krishna says here, with his mercy, then all these doubts can be clarified. So please go ahead, read the last one. Thank you. 15. Sutra Malika Prabhu.
My Lord, you are the cause of all causes, but you yourself have no cause. Therefore, you are the wonderful cause of everything. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the shelter of the Vedic knowledge contained in the Shastras like the Pancharatras and Vedanta Sutra, which are your representations, and who are the source of the Parampara system. Because it is you who can give liberation, you are the only shelter for all transcendentalists. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
My Lord, as the fire in RNA wood is covered, you and your unlimited knowledge are covered by the material modes of nature. Your mind, however, is not attentive to the activities of the modes of nature. Those who are advanced in spiritual knowledge are not subject to the regulative principles directed in the Vedic literatures. Because such advanced souls are transcendental, you personally appear in their pure minds. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Since an animal such as me has surrendered unto you, who are supremely liberated, certainly you will release me from this dangerous position. Indeed, being extremely merciful, you incessantly try to deliver me. By your partial feature as Paramatma, you are situated in the hearts of all embodied beings. You are celebrated as direct transcendental knowledge, and you are unlimited. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My Lord, those who are completely freed from material contamination always meditate upon you within the cores of their hearts. You are extremely difficult to attain for those like me who are attached to mental concoction, home, relatives, friends, money, servants, and assistants. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, uncontaminated by the modes of nature. You are the reservoir of all enlightenment, the Supreme Controller. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. After worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, those who are interested in the four principles of religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation obtain from him what they desire. What then is to be said of other benedictions? Indeed, sometimes the Lord gives a spiritual body to such ambitious worshippers. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unlimitedly merciful, bestow upon me the benediction of liberation from this present danger and from the materialistic way of life.
So, Sutramali Prabhu, wait. You open another tab with the same verse and we can read the purport, please. Thank you. Do we want to chant the verse together, all of us? Yes? Okay. Kindly repeat after me. Yam dharma kama artha vimukti kama bhajantamishtam gatimapnuvanti kim chashishoratyapi deham avyayam karotu me dabradayo vimokshanam. After worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, those who are interested in the four principles of religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, obtain from him what they desire. What then is to be said of other benedictions? Indeed, sometimes the Lord gives a spiritual body to such ambitious worshippers. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unlimitedly merciful, bestow upon me the benediction of liberation from this present danger and from the materialistic way of life. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Some men within this material world are akami, free from material desire. Some are ambitious to get more and more material profit. And some desire fulfillment in religious life, economic development, sense gratification, and finally, liberation. Akama sarva kamova moksha kama udaradihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Bhagavatam 2.3.10. It is recommended that whatever one's position, whether one demands no material profit, all material profit, or ultimately liberation, one should offer his obedient devotional service to the Lord, and one will get what he desires. Krishna is so kind. Ya yathamam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham. The Lord reciprocates. Whatever even an ordinary living entity wants, Krishna gives. Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, and he gives that which is desired by the living entity. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wandering of all living entities who are seated as on machine made of material energy. Bhagavad Gita 18:61. The Lord gives everyone an opportunity to fulfill his ambitions. Even such a devotee as Dhruva Maharaj wanted the material benediction of a kingdom greater than that of his father, and although he received a spiritual body, he also got the kingdom. For the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not disappoint anyone who takes shelter of his lotus feet. Therefore, since Gajendra, king of the elephants, had surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead to get free from the present danger and, indirectly, from the present danger of materialistic life, why should the Supreme Personality of Godhead not fulfill his desire? So this is one of the things that people have about spiritual life. No, I'm fine. Everything is fine. God, this, that, who knows what happens. I heard that, you become really like, give up everything and you just run to the forest. Or, you just, people have many kinds of fears when they approach Krishna. But it is mentioned that Krishna is so merciful that he will give whatever is there in the heart. And please understand, only he is capable of giving in such a way that nobody can give. Dhruva Maharaj wanted a planet greater than that of Lord Brahma. Now, Brahmas is the supreme planet. Now, how can anybody create a planet greater than that of Brahma? Yet the Supreme Personality of God did it. And was Dhruva like, look at me, I got it. He was feeling sad that, why did I ask for such a small thing? Dhruva planet is a really, Brahma's Loka is some planet. Please trust me when I say that. It's like amazingly beautiful. There is no question of old age, no healthcare plan needed because nobody gets sick. No deodorants needed because there is no bodily odors. There is no fuel or loud sounds needed for airplanes because no cell phones because everybody communicates through minds. You don't need this electromagnetic radiations hitting the body to communicate. But then he created something greater than that and he gave it to Dhruva. And Dhruva, he realized that won't give me happiness. Now, please understand, I'm not saying that each of us should not aspire for material prosperity, but to place your faith saying that if I get that, I will be happy in this material world, that is not going to make you happy. That much is guaranteed. You should try for it. If your duty is, again I said, if your nature is actually to do something, do it. But if you place your faith strongly on one thing, that is, I get that, I am perfect, you will be bound to be disappointed. Because it's the nature of material world is such that there is no question of permanent happiness here. You will get some happiness, don't get me wrong, but that's just going to vanish as soon as it comes. You just talk of a person who was raving about, for example, take one item that your friend or your relative has been thinking about for last 2 months, dreaming about it, living it, sleeping it, nothing. Think about one such thing. And when they buy it, then 2 months later you should come back and tell me how they feel about it. Full of regret, full of anxiety, buyer's remorse. There is a term actually for it. Buyer's remorse, yes or yes? Yes. Why is there buyer's remorse? Why should there be a buyer's remorse? Because it's just the nature of this material world. So when we have to do our duty, but then our faith should be in something higher, because that's going to truly make us happy. Questions, comments? 20 more minutes to go. I don't even know if we can get through this. We'll get through this chapter. Yes, Mukharavinda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for that wisdom that you told, that if I can get there, I'll be happy in this material world. So that never comes, that we always chase after that. So what should a devotee think, or that what should be his desire?
So, you do the needful. Just like I usually give this example. We all travel, yes or yes? Business, personal, whatever. And you go and you have nobody in that city, so you stay in a hotel. Yes or yes? Yes. So you stay in the hotel. So you come to this beautiful city, and you come to this beautiful hotel, and then you put your luggage, you settle down, then you head to the nearest hardware store. I don't like the paint in my room. I'm going to get the paint and color the paint of my room to something. This bed is trash. Let me head to the furniture store, and I'll get the bed. People will call a psychiatrist or some problem. The hotel managers will say they have a serious problem. Nobody does that also, because you go, you do your business, you get out. And you don't trash the place, you don't start painting the place. So this nature of this world is that you come here, whatever you need to do to maintain yourself, but use this platform for higher aspiration, for understanding God, for knowing about who you are and how to be permanently happy. Just like the other example is, you have a car, right? Does anybody not have a car? Everybody has a car, right? Most of us have a car. So assume that you have a car, and then you're so attached to the car that you go into the garage and never get out of the car. Your wife calls you, you will say, no, I like this car so much, I want to sleep in it day and night. You'll freeze to death, that's okay. Or the thing is, the other aspect is, your car maintenance list will go on. Time for oil change. Who cares? And then it goes on for some time, and eventually what happens? The car won't start. Or worst, it'll happen is, it'll start, but you're holding the steering wheel and sitting in the seat, everything is falling apart. Car is something that you need to get your work done. Similarly, this body is something that is going to fall apart sooner or later. So you can use that for your higher purpose. You use car to go to office and to build your career, have whatever. The car is not the big thing in your life. There are some things that are more important than just having a car. So similarly, the problem is when your life revolves completely around the car with no other higher purpose, there where the problem comes. If to maintain this body, to take care of it, the family members, so on and so forth, that's all, it's important. You should do it. Because without car, you can't get anywhere either. Unfortunately, you don't have spare bodies. It's not like you have closet full of bodies. Next day, one day morning, I'll change to women's body. Next day, I'll have men's body, whatever. No. One body has been given, you have to make use of it. So you have to take care of it. You have to eat healthy. You have to exercise, whatever you need to keep your body fit. But to just think that is my only purpose of life is not as reasonable. Same as a person who is saying having a car and maintaining the car is my purpose of life. That's a perfection of my life. What is your perfection? I'm just maintaining my car. It's perfect. Same thing. So we have this body is like just a machine that we are driving it, and the higher purpose is to know God. So that eventually this body becomes something that is completely useless. Now the Uber comes, you don't need a car. Or there is this self-driving, automated car service, right? That's going to come. So something like that. So if helps, Makharinda?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. I appreciate your answer and very nice examples. That really helps. But suppose I'm a fool that even after seeing that and still my mind goes to that I understand that I should not paint the room or I should not be attached to that car and stay in the garage. So what is the solution for that?
You hang out with people whose whole purpose of life is not to paint the room, hotel room, or stay in the garage with the cars. And slowly you'll realize that there's a higher purpose of life. The whole idea of this temple is to actually, inculcate in a collective way that remembrance of Krishna and to give us the higher purpose. And that's the whole purpose of why Srila Prabhupada started ISKCON and why we are here, why the ISV is here. Just to help each other remind that, there is a higher purpose beyond this world where everybody is either trying to exploit you or whether everybody is trying to get something out of you or sell something to you or somehow get your money. This place is a place where you can be in amongst those who don't need to exploit you and to reach your full potential. That's the goal of ISV.
Thank you.
And thank you, and you're done, right? And then, okay.
Hopefully it will get care now.
I was actually thinking about Parikshit Maharaj's statement. He says that punascha bhuyas, that if I
That's nice. Thank you. Should we read? You want that verse? 1:19, 17. Think. First canto, 1:19. I think it's 17, if I remember right. So for those who are not familiar, do not worry. I can give the 17, 7. I don't know, one of those. Somebody can. Yeah. 16? 1:6. Thank you. Yeah, I was off by 1. All right. Thank you. Okay, kindly let's repeat that. Everybody comfortable repeating shlokas? Okay, all right. So for those, just a background, for those who are not sure what this shloka is about. Everybody, we talked about Parikshit Maharaj a little bit. He was a great king. In those days there were no elections, no campaign for raising stuff, no pesky judiciaries to control you. You were the judge, jury and executioner, and you were king for life. So it was like president for life, like Supreme Court judges, they are for life, hopefully. So the king was for life. There was no, and then the people were very happy. And then this king, last class we discussed a little bit of why it happened, but he did some small mistake and he was cursed to die in 7 days. And then, he didn't start a campaign war, or he didn't take out his armies and try to kill the person who cursed him, but he accepted the curse as the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he sat on the bank of river Ganges, and then these were his prayers. He didn't say that next life let me become a bigger king, or get a better follower. These are the 3 things that he asked for. So kindly repeat after me. Punascha bhuyat bhagavatyanante rati prasangascha tadashrayeshu mahatsu yam yam upayami srishtim Maitryastu sarvatra namo dvijebhyaha. Again, offering obeisances unto all you Brahmanas, I pray that if I should take my birth in this material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relations with all the living entities. So this is what he asked for, and this is some genuine benediction for someone, for all of us. So can we go back to Gajendra? I don't know if we can complete all the thing. So here are 2 options. We can. I'll take. So there are 2 options. I can quickly wrap up the story of Gajendra, or if the audience wants, then we can have one more class. But I don't know when it will be. That is a problem, though. So here is what we'll do: the preview, as in wrapping up, and then getting into the details. If ever Krishna allows me to speak, if that's okay with you. So Gajendra, he prayed with his heartfelt prayers, and the demigods were in charge of creation. They said, he's calling for the supreme God, means we are not going to go. Because they realized that it seems Gajendra was not aware of who the Supreme Lord was. All he called was the Supreme Lord, and he knew his characteristics. But he didn't know specifically how he looked like. And it was Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, he was not aware. But Lord Vishnu came riding along with Garuda, and then he came, he got down from it said that he comes. Now Garuda is not a small bird, not like those small remote control toys. It seems when he actually flies, there are entire planets that have dust storms created. And so he came, Lord came with his all the demigods and the sages glorifying him. He came on his majestic bird Garuda, and then as soon as he landed, he got down from his vehicle, and then he put the hand on the head of Gajendra and he pushed him out of the water. When he pushed him out of the water, both Gajendra, the huge elephant, and the crocodile, who was still latching onto his leg, they both came out. And the Lord Vishnu, he took his disc, and then with that one disc, he cut the head of Gajendra. Crocodile. Thank you. But later he cut the head of Gajendra too. I'll tell you why. Not exactly cutting. Now, what does Krishna say? I am equal to all. Yes or yes? Was he equal to all? Poor crocodile. He was also part and parcel of God. But his head got, and Gajendra, where is the justice? What happened here? Not good. But the story behind it goes is that Gajendra, in fact, was a very powerful king called Indradyumna, and who had given up his kingdom, and he was performing severe austerities in the forest. And Agastya Muni came. He was in deep meditation. Agastya Muni came with his disciples, and then he saw, hey, this king is not even offering me worship. He's not even looking at me. He's not even giving me some hospitality and water. This fellow is condemned. I'll curse him to make him an elephant. He says, let his next birth be an elephant. So Indradyumna Maharaj did not say, you cursed me, I'm going to Twitter. I'm put Twitter against you. Like it's common thing these days. No, he said, I accepted it, and next birth he became an elephant. And that's how it happened. And the crocodile, in his previous life, he was a Gandharva. His name was Huhu. Okay, this is the easiest quiz question to answer. Who was crocodile in his previous life? Who? There we go. See, I'm not making it up, please. It's there in Bhagavatam. Believe me, you can look it up. So that Gandharva, he was floating in water. He was just playing in water with his friends. And then, by accident, he caught the leg of a sage who was meditating in the water, and he pulled the leg. And then the sage cursed, because you pulled my leg, I'll curse you to be a crocodile. And then the beauty is that when Gajendra was liberated by Lord Vishnu, he got liberation from material existence. He became one of the associates having the four-handed form of Lord Vishnu. And Gandharva, he got liberated from his crocodile body, and he went back to his regular destination of where he was. So when Krishna actually enacted this pastime, both Gajendra was benefited and the crocodile was benefited. So when Krishna performs some activities, it is for the benefit of all, but it apparently looks like as if, he's doing some injustice. Another point, forget the portion of what they were in their previous lives. If you can take a look at that pathetic scene of this elephant struggling in the water for 1,000 years and this mean, nasty crocodile hanging on to his feet. And, your emotions are churned. Yes or yes? So poor, he was enjoying life, and look at this crocodile. Our attitude towards this material world, when you hear of all these, so many injustices and so many things that are going on, we tend to see only the picture within this time frame. There could be a higher purpose, and only God knows the higher purpose of each of us, or the past lives of each of us. So it's better that one be cautious, before you judge this material world, because this is going on under will of Krishna. This is not yours or mine to control. We are just also an insignificant part in that material world. So while we do best to help others to spiritually advance, but to take a strong position in this material world without knowing the complete picture, we may not be able to see it. So we have 5 more minutes. Questions or comments? Is there anything else I wanted to cover? One other point. When you offer prayers to God, we chant this Mahamantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So while we are all here together, let's all, from the very core of our heart, please publish the Mahamantra, because there are few who came, they might not know the words. Yes, please. So from, any prayers that you offer to God, right? Even in the time of crisis, if you can remember these prayers and offer it, it's never going to go in vain. The story is, in the previous life, he was a great exalted king and a devotee, but in the next life, by chance, he became what? An elephant. But the prayers that he offered in his previous life were never lost. And when time came, by grace of God, he was able to remember those prayers. So, as a parting thing, let's at least chant this Mahamantra maybe 3 times with deep faith, asking Krishna for our protection. Let's all do it together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So from this story we learn that, keep chanting this mantra wherever you can, whenever you can, how much ever you can, and you are not going to be the losers. And in fact, when crisis comes, it may be your only hope, because Gajendra's only hope was the prayers that he offered, which attracted Krishna, and he was able to be saved. Any final questions or comments before we go to the next part of the program, where we have Aarti for their lordships, and everybody is free to dance and sing for the Lordship. Final questions or comments? All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for wonderful section. It's really a lot of practical insights and we can take to our daily lives. So thank you for bringing this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for patiently hearing. And please forgive me for any offenses. So we should stop here then. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyacha prakanam.
His Grace Srivas Pandit Prabhu ki